Welcome to Blue Blooded, a college hoops podcast. I am your host, Ryan Hammer. I'm honestly just really excited right now. I got a big smile on my face. I'm amped right now. This is the first episode of my college basketball podcast. It's been a long time coming. I don't know if we'll call it episode 1 or episode half, because this is going to be more of an intro episode just to get to know me more, my background, and kind of how I got here, even for the people that think they know everything about me. I am joined to the left by my big brother, Adam. Hello, big brother, Adam.
Let's go.
Adam is... I don't know how to say it. Adam's going to do a lot of things. The Swiss Army knife on the show. He's going to be a producer. He's going to be a lot of times in that chair asking questions, off camera, on camera, doing a lot of the dirty work is what I like to say. But we'll call you a producer, I guess. Is that fair?
Producer extraordinaire, master of everything.
Yeah. He's going to help me out a lot because I can't do this alone. And I appreciate you being here. All right?
This is going to be fun, man. I'm
excited.
excited.
It's going to be fun. I am really excited. This has definitely been a long time coming. I'm a little nervous, to be honest, because it's the start of a new journey, and I've done a lot of different things throughout the years, but I'm super excited to be here. I'm happy you're here with me.
I'm happy to be here, too. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about that journey, why we're here now?
Okay, good question. Like 4 years ago, probably, I started making TikToks. People that don't know, I think a lot of people know me now as like everything's very polished. I like to think it is a little bit. The quality is really good, but 4 years ago, I started making TikToks in mom and dad's 2-bedroom apartment in Howell.
That's right.
2-bedroom apartment. I was living with them right after the pandemic and like during the pandemic. I was making like the TikToks were such bad quality. I was talking about football, basketball, soccer, every sport because I love all sports. That's where the content journey started, and it basically just kind of grew and ended up focusing on college basketball and the NBA draft. I don't know what year. I want to say 2022 is when I really started focusing on that. When my account took off for college basketball on TikTok, moved to Instagram and made things better and stuff like that. But way before that, I know you know this story. The reason I love college basketball so much is because of my big brother here. So it's very fitting that you are here. It's very fitting that you're helping me out with this. But the reason is I was about, what are we, 8 years apart?
We're 8 years apart.
So what year did you start going to college? At the University of Maryland. Give me the ball.
DQ. Maryland started in fall of 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
So I was 10, which is crazy. So I was 10, and when we would come visit you, we would go to watch Grievous Vasquez the Maryland Terrapins play against Duke and Carolina and the ACC game. So I was like, what in the world is this? And at the same time, guys like Steph and Jimmer had just started coming on the scene. The George Mason Final Four run was the year before you went to college, I think, or leading up to it or something like that.
We played Steph I think it was my second year. It might have been the year before I got there in the tournament, too.
That's crazy. But yeah, so I remember like that's kind of where it started from, and then it kind of just took off from there, the love for the sport, and everyone knows college basketball is freaking goated. Like the sport is unbelievable. So I fell in love with it. So that's kind of the short basis of where it is, where it comes from.
Well, this is a big moment for you, right? 4 years of doing college basketball, NBA draft, TikTok. We're sitting down here today in your beautiful basement studio.
I made this by myself.
It looks great.
If you're listening on Spotify or you're listening and not watching the video, you can go see it on YouTube or Spotify if you need to. But the studio is, I take a lot of pride in it.
It's a good setup.
I had a double espresso on a random Saturday afternoon, and I hadn't even started the podcast thoughts. I was like, Jess, I'm going to Home Depot. I'll be right back. And
By the way,
everything.
Ryan, not handy typically, so that's pretty good.
I mean, I'm not a handy guy, but I take a lot of pride in the work I've done here.
It looks great. We're sitting in your basement 4 years later, ready for this podcast. Why now for this podcast? And let's tell the people what we got in store for them.
Great question. Again, you get the great questions. Wow. I know that it's ready. I'm ready to take the next step in my whatever. I think people ask all the time, what are you? Like, you analyst, reporter? Hell no, I ain't no reporter. Never, ever, ever. I'm never going to be like that. I think that's a big part of it is that college sports media is in like, not a dungeon, but people feel like it's in a dungeon with a lot of negativity, and everyone knows I'm more of a positive guy. I speak more positively on anything. And when it is negative, it's just like this team's not good, etc. It's real, but it's with a grain of salt, and I always try to add some kind of optimism behind things. I think that's lacking in sports in general, and then in college basketball media, no hate to anybody, people out there, because people do great things. They always have. And I will shout out some people on this episode at some point, but it's very traditional. It is a lot of reporters, a lot of writing articles, which again, I understand there's value in that. There always has been, and I don't know, maybe there always will be, but I know that the tides are changing. We've seen that with the NBA going towards a lot of creators and the guys like Enjoy and Kenny Beecham, which I love those guys out there, numbers on the board and stuff like that, and a modern version of covering the sport. College basketball has yet to see that, and I don't think I know I am that person, so I think it's time for the podcast. And also, people in my comments all the time, y'all, when's the podcast come? When's the podcast come? You guys, they ask for a lot. It's like, I wanted to do the perfect timing. I didn't want to force it when I wasn't ready, but I figured I have to make the jump. People are asking for it. The demand is there, which is rare for a podcast also. I have a lot more to share. I then short form videos and everything like that, which I think people know me for that mostly on TikTok and Instagram. But I know there's a lot more that people want to see from me, and I have a lot more to say. So I'm trying to modernize the coverage of the sport, not only from how it's spoken and the media forms like this, but also like the actual coverage. I love connecting with players. I love doing behind the scenes stuff and things that people don't even think they want to hear until they hear it, until they see it. So that's kind of why.
Cool. I think the reason we're able to be here, I mean, believe me, I am not going to be the one to build you up and pat you on the back there a lot during this podcast. Quite the opposite. But for a second here, I think the reason we're able to do this, and the reason you've been able to find so much success up until this point, is because of your realism and kind of your ability to dictate, to do things how you want to do it. Like, I think that's really awesome about this, so I'm super excited for this.
That was so kind of you to say.
Thank you. Don't expect a lot of those.
If you don't know Adam, if you know Eric, the Eric Hammer, the Rich Hammer, whatever you want to call him, a lot of people know him. Food content creator, the Caesar Wrap King of the North.
Let's go.
It's a great name, actually.
Yeah,
I got to tell him that.
Trademark that.
Eric is a big-time content creator. People ask who's big, whatever. Probably him, because the Caesar Wraps have taken another level. But not the point. The three of us have a great relationship. It's fiery. It's a lot more teasing and like whatever, like classic brother stuff. So that was kind of you to say, and I appreciate that.
Well, don't expect a lot of those.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, so obviously it's early July now.
Yes.
This is going to be released in early mid-July as well. What happens next? What can everybody expect from us? When can they expect stuff from us?
Great question, because right now we just yapping. I'm just yapping to y'all, which is going to be honestly a majority of the content. Let's be honest here, but I think you guys can expect a lot, like I said, of coverage of the sport like normal in podcasts. I said I would shout people out. Eye on College Basketball Podcast, Parrish and Orlander, I've listened to forever.
Yep.
The Sleepers Media guys, Carter and Greg, I've listened to them and watched them and done stuff with them for a while also. They do a great job, I think, at being comical, but also covering the sport like you'd expect to on podcasts for the most part. And I think they do a great job at it. There will be an out to that. I'm covering the sport. During the season, we're going to talk about the sport, who's this, that, and what. Of course, there will be unique layers to doing that and shouting out certain players and teams and bracket stuff and whatever that's going to be. But there's going to be a lot of other stuff, players, coaches, retired, current, past, whatever. There's going to be a lot of that, and we're going to go beneath the layers a lot. I think also, like I said before, about like doing stuff behind the scenes. When I do my videos at Alabama with Mark Sears and Iowa State with Curtis Jones and et cetera, like I try to get stuff and show people stuff that they're not going to see anywhere else. So that's going to be the goal of it. The podcast itself, you'll see a lot of content. Spotify, YouTube, everywhere you get your podcast, you'll see this. But we'll also do short form stuff. We're going to go on the road like I did all year last year, but we're going to do that even more this year, hopefully.
Live shows.
Yeah, live shows, Final Four. We're working on stuff already and a bunch of stuff like that I'm super excited about. So, like I said, I'm just trying to be – I hate being like – I don't – egotistical or cocky or anything. I'm trying to be the modern face of college basketball media.
Good.
So
good for you.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. And I think every Monday is what people can expect from us starting in August or so.
Logistics are very important, yes. Every Monday we're going to be posting throughout the season. I think sometime early, mid-August we'll start, and it will literally go hopefully until the day I die.
No promises. I can't promise I'll be here for that.
But the idea is every Monday morning, we'll record Sunday nights because the college basketball slates, a lot of them are Saturday-based, so the weekends and week.
Yep.
We will start with weekly podcasts on Monday. There will be content on the social profiles throughout the entire week, and other YouTube videos, interviews, games, little things like that.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll go from there, for sure.
Okay, college basketball, kind of your thing. Talk to me over these years, especially as you've really ramped up on the content space. Your favorite players, your favorite memories. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mentioned a couple before. George Mason, 2006 Final Four run was like the first. I remember filling out brackets and playing the games on the mini hoop in the basement, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who the play. Like I was 9 at the time. Or actually I was 8 because it was '06, right?
Sure.
So I was 8, turning 9. And I was playing the games, and then and I love George Mason. They went to the Final Four. That was crazy to me.
Yep.
And that was the first taste of what March Madness really was. Cinderella run. I mentioned Davidson and Steph Curry. That's like Davidson and Steph Curry at Davidson is like an all-time thing that like basketball fans will remember forever and tell their children and their children's children about. With Steph, Jimmer Fredette, you got the jersey right behind you. Like Jimmer at BYU is like the pinnacle of college basketball. Like this crazy white boy that nobody knew from the Mormon Mountains of Utah, and nobody knew what BYU was at the time, and he was going absolutely crazy. And shout out to Brandon Davies. Otherwise, maybe they would have went to a Final Four if he kept it in his pants. But that's okay.
Especially at BYU.
Yeah, exactly. Davidson, BYU is a really good one. I think in general, Gonzaga, the idea, I don't know if you knew this, I wanted to go to Gonzaga when I was a kid.
You were never going away to school that far, though.
So maybe I should add this in the backstory. We've been sports fans forever. I played soccer my entire life. I played a lot of sports, but soccer was obviously my one sport.
Ryan was don't let Ryan fool you. He talks about his jumper, and you see his layups in the gym. Ryan is a soccer guy. Through and through. Yeah,
look, we got a Jamie Vardy book right here. This is the one full book I've read in my lifetime. So, I probably should have said that on live. That's okay. I played soccer. I went to college for soccer. But when I was growing up, I wanted to go to Gonzaga. I was infatuated with what the idea of the school was and the basketball program because they weren't this traditional powerhouse of big school. No one really knew where it was at the time, that I thought at least. And I was so fascinated by it. And I still am fascinated by how they built.
I'm fascinated by Spokane, Washington in general.
I do want to go there this year. I will make it happen. Shout out Coach Fewey, we coming. So, Gonzaga's a big one for sure. Through the years, I'm thinking about the players and key moments. Kemba Walker in the Garden, step back, cardiac Kemba, and really that whole season, the national championship run was like, oh my God. That was like unbelievable, unfathomable. And then you lead into like Melo Trimble. Shout out Terps. Melo Trimble is probably my favorite college basketball player ever. And then even stuff like Loyola Chicago Final Four run and Chris Jenkins' national title shot through the years as I got older. But those are probably my core memories.
And your Maryland fandom, not to pat myself on the back, does start with me.
I was going to ask you, like you were, not to date you at all, a little bit of half a generation ahead of me, right?
Too late, go for it.
What are, as a big-time student, I went to a small D3 school.
Right.
You went to a big state school also, and they were good, and ACC, like all these crazy times. Mm-hmm. What were your core memories, I guess, as a Maryland student and fan, but also like in general of the sport?
Well, your earliest college basketball memory you probably don't remember, but when you were 5 years old, you attended an event called Adams March Madness.
Was that your bar mitzvah?
My bar mitzvah.
Oh, my God.
So my college basketball fandom dates back to when I was an early teen, I would say. I used to really love Arizona. Like Lute Olson, Mike Bibby, Richard Jefferson, Jason Gardner, point guard after Bibby, high socks, played with Jefferson. Like, you talk about dating myself. I loved Arizona basketball. They were awesome. They were really good, elite-level program at the time. And it was literally my bar mitzvah theme. I think all the dancers wore cut-sleeve jerseys. It was a lot of fun. So that is actually your earliest college basketball memory.
Sounds lit, honestly.
I think I knew pretty early on I was not going that far for school. So I applied to all the big ones in the area, and I ended up at Maryland. And I have not regretted it a day since. Basketball was a big part of my student journey there, let's call it.
Yeah.
So I was there from 07 to 11. Gravis, Vasquez. I feel like emotionally connected to Gravis. Hi, Gravis.
He's probably watching right now.
I'm sure he is.
Better be watching.
And so my memories are camping out for Duke, for Carolina, rushing the floor against Duke and Carolina.
How many times did you rush the court in your career? This is big. I've never rushed the court in my life.
That is a great question. I think the answer is 3.
Okay. That's a solid number.
We rushed against Duke my senior year, which was the best one, against Shire. And that was a really fun one. Jordan Williams dunked on, I think it might have been Shire. Nolan Smith got knocked out on a screen by Dave Neal. And it was a lot of stuff happening. That might have been the year before. We rushed the court against Carolina my junior year. Ty Lawson, the fastest basketball player I've ever seen in person.
He's crazy.
They were insane and really good. The really high level ACC, like Maryland fans being mean and ugly to people. I eat that up. I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we always loved having a chip on our shoulder and, like, cursing at JJ Redick on camera. Before I was there,
he was like, he still hates that to this day. He still has, like, a grudge over that.
He had to
I understand why.
I don't want to belabor the point, but his number got leaked on campus, and basically that was it. He had to turn his cell phone off. ESPN didn't air a Duke at Maryland game for a decade after that.
Yeah.
Because of all the cursing on air. So, but my Maryland basketball memories are Gravis Vasquez storming the court against Duke in Carolina, and winning a share. The Duke court storm my junior year won a share of the ACC title.
Did you split it with them?
Yes.
Probably, yeah. And they were probably like, well, that's crazy. We won also.
So those are my Maryland memories that I hold very near and dear to my heart.
And we won't do too much Maryland talk, but the Maryland people now know that I'm a Maryland guy also. And this is why. Obviously the math. But you weren't there. You weren't able to go to the Michigan State game. I'm not sorry to bring it up again. It was a terrible ending, whatever. I don't really care. I've been to a lot of Maryland games through the years. We've gone to campus together throughout the years and stuff, and they haven't been great for majority of years. They've been okay. But that game, I've talked to older fans also, was the environment for the Michigan State game was the best thing I've ever seen. Honestly, that I've ever personally seen at a Maryland game, for sure. I don't know about you. You weren't there, obviously, but it was probably close.
The Hey You Suck video that you posted during the final timeout brought a tear to my eye.
It really did?
There was a long period of time where that song was gone from the arena, and they actually started playing it over the loudspeaker again. That was a beautiful moment.
Hey, you suck. Yeah,
beautiful moment. Beautiful moment. I would say the off the beaten path crowd that you won't remember was also my junior year. They went on a 12-0 run against Clemson. Any huge Maryland fan knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Gravis dunked. He never dunks. And the place went absolutely bonkers. I would say the Carolina and Duke games that I already talked about, plus the Clemson game, are the best crowd. But that Michigan State crowd made me think back to my heyday at Maryland.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And people talk about how good Big Ten, I think of right away, the Breslin Center, and how good Mackey and Purdue fans have been in Indiana and stuff in the environment. I remember specifically Purdue fans in my replies, and I said they were oh wow, this is what Maryland needs, and this is great for the Big Ten, and it really is. And I went to a small D3 school. Shout out Arcadia in Glenside, Pennsylvania. But and I will say we had some lit basketball games for conference tournaments when they were play them at home sites and stuff, and it was pretty crazy. But obviously nothing like that. So for me to experience that as a fan was the first time I've ever seen that in my life for me. So it was I wasn't crying. I didn't go to the school, whatever. But it was awesome. It was so cool, and other fans recognize how great it was.
Two things on Maryland, and we could stop talking about them for now. Number one, college basketball is better when the Maryland Terrapins are good. Fact. I believe that.
You think they're one of the teams? All right,
the fan base is fun. We like to talk crap to people. And number two, the video you posted watching the Dairy Queen buzzer beater. Let me see, short back in view here. I think officially indoctrinated you into the Maryland fandom. So welcome.
It was so authentic.
My fellow Terp. That was the best video.
It was really raw.
Yeah,
I was alone, about 6 feet up that way.
That was a great video.
I was alone, and I talked to Derek extensively about that about 2 weeks ago, right before the day before the draft. Yeah. He was. I love him so much, by the way.
He's that dude.
But yeah, he is that dude. I love him. But yeah, it's cool, and I've done so much content as I think people. I don't know about everybody. Tennessee fans won't agree. Purdue fans used to not agree.
Tell them.
Who else hates me? There's not many right now. Purdue fans I've won over this offseason, but Tennessee fans and a lot of, honestly, SEC fans, no hate at all, but the SEC fans in general, but a lot of them don't think that they think I'm biased. I know that I'm unbiased. I am very impartial to everything. I have consumed everything until this year very impartially. I knew Maryland was good. That was impartial too. I will say that. I stand on that because I knew they were good. That's why I kept talking about them a lot. And of course, there was a fan and passion in me that did that. But this year was the first year that it was hard to split that apart. And I didn't start posting about Maryland until later in the year, February. And I was like, shit, this team is so good. I was like, holy crap, this team's actually amazing. So that, I think that's also back to what we were talking about earlier of people like my authenticity. I know that, and I built a very loyal audience because of that. But this year was tough. It was tough. I'm not going to lie.
That makes me feel good. I will say, to all the fan bases who think Ryan doesn't like them, if Ryan filled out his bracket based on teams he would like, he would never be able to eliminate everybody.
Because
he has so many. This is my guy. This is my team. This is my coach. Everybody. He loves that. Ryan loves everybody.
People don't know how much I talk to the coaches and players. Yeah, I'm in people's DMs and they're in mine all the time. I'll shout out some guys here. Shout out Brooks Savage at ETSU. That's my dog right there. We talk all the time. Like there are certain coaches. You saw Todd Golden 2 days ago.
Shout out Todd Golden.
And you said, "Oh, he's my brother," and he was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Like I talked to a lot of the players. Xavier Lee's at Florida now. Like I have a Princeton shirt somewhere here, but like I have so many guys and people that I know,
So
and
many.
and I've grown to really respect so many teams and coaches. If you would have asked me like 4 years ago when I started posting stuff, I would have told you like Purdue is the worst. Like they're never gonna win anything.
Oh.
I hate Matt Painter. I
love Mackey, man.
I have such a fond respect
Yeah.
for him as a coach. Like there are things that I grow on, and people as fans don't realize that until they take an arc like I have, and I have grown to appreciate basically everybody. So if you think I don't like your team, you think I hate you, you're probably wrong. Most of the time. Let
me rephrase that. Ryan doesn't hate your team. He hates you.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, people know also in my replies and comments, the authenticity thing, anytime someone says something mean to me, within 2 seconds, I'm like, yeah, no, like El Bozo clown or something like that. Like I'm right back at them. I do that
I
all
don't
the
even know
time.
what that means, but okay.
Exactly. We're gonna have to work on that.
Yeah,
with you.
we'll work on
We're
the
gonna
slang.
Work on that. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. I think that's all we have for this episode. This is just an intro episode. Oh man, this is crazy. So they will be more structured going forward for sure. This is like I just read. We wanted to get on the mics. I wanted to get on the mic, start yapping about the sport and about everything, and kind of get everybody a taste of what we are like together, what I'm like, what you're going to be seeing, and kind of give you an expectation. And honestly, I really just wanted to start the content and get everything going because this is episode. We're going to call this episode a half. Episode a half.
All right.
Because it's not a formal episode. There's no segments. It was just yap time, yap sessions, whatever, and it will be more fine-tuned and polished as we go on. But listen, if you're here, first of all, seriously, thank you so much he's done a lot of stuff behind the scenes and helped me with everything, and I do appreciate that as a big brother, but also as an acquaintance. There we go.
Don't call me your acquaintance.
Okay, big brother or friend, whatever. You're my business acquaintance and whatever, but it means a lot, and I'm happy you're here. So I know you're happy to be here also, right?
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait, man.
But yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, hello. Thank you for watching, and if you're listening everywhere else, we really appreciate you for tuning in.
Subscribe, follow, like.
Yeah, you
all
gotta
the things.
go all the follows, whatever. Everything's kind of linked in the links in the bios and everything where you need to find it, and it's called Blue Blooded. There you go. Just search it. There's no other podcast named Blue Blooded. It's got the BB, basketball. You'll find it. I really do appreciate everybody for being here. I'm excited for where this is going to go. Who knows? The podcast could be the biggest podcast in the world in a year. It could be off the face of the earth in a year. We're going to find out together. But again, appreciate you guys for being here and listening. Stay tapped in. If you have any also questions, comments, I would love to hear them and feedback and stuff like that because that's what this is all about. So I guess without further ado, we'll see you next time.
Deuces.
See ya.